What's going on, gamers? We got an interesting article here on Twitter by L Gamer, basically trying to say rumors. There's some people they're gonna call copium, some people they're gonna argue. I got a few key points definitely that I need to add in because this could be something that takes off with a lot of arguments. I think there's other posts about it too, but it's a rumor that's gonna start spreading. It says Sony will sell its PC games in its own store. I don't know if you guys remember certain videos I made back then, as if Sony was going to do anything, it would be because of their own launcher. And he says some believe Wolverine might launch on the same day as its PC release, but it will require a Sony launcher and a PSN account. Well, here's the thing with that. And I want you guys to think about this. Sony started advertising only on PlayStation. They're trying to do a Nintendo thing. That's like saying Nintendo's going to be putting stuff on PC if they're putting only on Nintendo. And Windows is not a PlayStation. So this is where people could say this is copium. And they're still trying to think of a way of Sony coming day and date on PC. I know there's going to be a counter argument. You know what I mean? I'm not saying this is not possible, but why would Sony want to go only on PlayStation? Like, if you say only on PlayStation, that means only on their console. You know what I mean? Um, Now, could only on PlayStation mean a PlayStation Store for PC? I don't think so, because that means that console that you're buying. Like, they're pushing PSSR 2 on the PS5 Pro. Why would they go try to promote that and promote their console with GTA 6 rights and then put a PlayStation Store on PC where you could play GTA on PC? Because you'd be doing it through the PlayStation Store, right? Like, or they were trying to get PC gamers that way. Like, either way you look at it, it's not making much sense right now. And then he says this way they can avoid PC games on Helix. Here's the thing, Sony's not threatened by Xbox whatsoever. It doesn't make any sense to believe they need to avoid Helix like it's going to come in like some insane competition. It ain't going to sell that much like that. It's going to be an optional hardcore PC. So I don't really see that really being a problem for Sony. That was articles saying that they may have done it because of the Steam machine, and I'm like, I would have to hear them say that because once again, that's not going to sell more than 10 million. And if it sold 10 million, Bob will be jumping for joy. You know what I mean? So it's like, how is anything threatening PlayStation really then? Because they put all their games on Steam for years. And if Steam was threatening to the PlayStation ecosystem, that would have happened by putting their games on Steam. That's a way bigger base than what the Steam machine is going to have. That's going to be an extension of what Steam built on PC. You see what I mean? So this way they can avoid PC games on Helix doesn't make any sense. We've been hearing rumors for years about a PSN launcher. Well, yeah, there has been rumors about that. I remember people pulling up like avatar stickers and all this other stuff to try to think that was going to happen, but it didn't happen. And it says, according to a source that leaked information, we don't know what that means. Sony was previously working on a PSN launcher for PC. That may have been possible. I can't say that they did or not because I wasn't there. Um, but one thing I do know is that Sony started advertising for their games like Ghost of Yotei only on PlayStation now. You didn't see a PC port happen. Demon Souls never came. You know what I mean? Gran Turismo never came. Bloodborne never came. There's games that you could look at like, yeah, this game is not on PC. Astrobot's not coming. Ghost of Yotei, Sorrows, Wolverine. The games that they already wanted to advertise on PC, they show that to you already. Why would they put games that are coming out on PC later, like Marvel Tokon, and not give you anything about Ghost of Yotei? It's no. So I don't know about this. And he says it could be true since you can install PSN launcher on Xbox or Steam without Sony's permission. It probably will only work on Windows desktops computers. Oh man, I don't know about that. But obviously, if you wanted to get like the biggest base, Windows is it. Steam can tell you that, right? How much they've dominated on Windows. So these are going to be a lot of, I think, topics that could be coming up in the future. I want you guys to let me know what you think about this. We're going to be taking a look at some of the comments, and we'll dive a little bit more into this. Going down, this dude says, Sony, I think if it does it, it would do it without an app that you download. It would do it as an installable and independent operating system for Windows. So here's an interesting thing right there. That's what Steam did, right? Steam made a Proton database that uses Linux, but you're playing Steam on Windows, but it's not Windows. If Sony did do something like that, he's correct. It would kind of be like an extension, And that means they would be doing the Steam game then, but except it's going to be PlayStation and only on the PlayStation database. So it's not going to be Windows coded. If it was possible, right? I'm not going to sit here and try to be the type of person that says that, you know, oh, I hope it never happens. I'm just not going to be that guy. But I know that Sony's very fine in their ecosystem and they've tested Steam, which is the biggest thing on Windows. So if they already tested that, I don't think PlayStation would overtake Steam on Windows. It would just be more PlayStation support. But the people coming from the Steam profile, I mean, sure, they would want to play it with their rigs, but they already complained about having to do that. You know what I mean? But and I think that's just like some anti-PlayStation stuff because like you do that with all the other launchers, though. You don't have a choice. Like if you want to play their game. So this is an interesting comment to think that, but I don't know. When selling them on their launcher, the profit is also 100%. Another point in favor of Sony, and let them learn to put DRM on their games. Oh God, no. People have the same ideology about PlayStation games on PC as they do about Nintendo ones. The ones from X company get pirated. Yeah, I know what he means by that. But yeah, I mean, if you do that, you do it on your property. Like Steam controls what it controls, right? It's not like Windows is controlling the Steam store. This guy says 3,023 years, okay? Oh man, that's gonna be funny. Pure copium. This is what this person says. This is what it came from. Pure copium. If Helix really is a consolidated PC, there's no way to avoid being able to install more launchers compatible with Windows. Yeah, unless Sony blocks it because it's their launcher, right? PlayStation games were already selling regularly, tending to poorly when released on Steam. It would be completely stupid to pull out of the main PC store. So I know people are tired of a lot of launchers, right? That's the thing. But what this guy is saying, I get what he means. Helix is a consolidated PC, but it has Xbox involvement in it. So it's not really something that Sony needs to worry about. That's way lesser than what the Steam base is. The Steam machine would be more of a threat than that coming into the console industry because it'll sell more than that most likely. And even then, you know what I mean? Like Sony already saw what would happen to the PlayStation brand and identity by putting everything on Steam. It didn't really like damage them or anything like that. It makes no sense to avoid games on Helix. If the launcher is on Windows, it's automatically on Helix. That's what I'm saying. But they're doing it like a universal system on there. But I get what he's trying to say. It's not for nothing. But if Project Helix is a PC, then it runs Windows. So if Sony launches a launcher for PC, then Xbox is going to have Sony's games. That's logic, unless Sony blocks it. But here's the thing, though. Like when we look at some of this type of stuff, I don't believe that Sony is going to be doing this. If they do, I mean, hey, it happens. I'm not going to be the type of guy that hates, but I think they're trying to push the only PlayStation ecosystem, strengthen their identity as much as possible. Not sit here and let people know that I'm about to go to PC even more now with my own launcher, and I need to launch PS6 where you're only focusing on PS6 so that the console industry can continue to stay healthy. You see what I'm saying? It kind of is going against what they're pushing now with PSSR too, and only on PlayStation, and getting ready for PS6 in about a year plus or a year and a half from now. Putting stuff on PC kind of lessens the interest because then you have higher spec machines that can play PlayStation games already, and they're just sitting there waiting, and they're not going to look at the PS6. So Sony has a loyal base that is just going to buy PlayStation consoles already. But if you want to invite in as much new people as possible and have only there, kind of like the way Nintendo is doing it, then you have to play that game. And Sony can do it because their identity is still strong, and Steam only helped them by like 1.5% at best. So that's kind of like my take on this because this is definitely something to talk about before it gets too out of control, or maybe it has already. This is one of the posts I ran into. I was like, let me just choose his post because it's going to be popping up more. I want you guys to let me know what you think about it. Leave a comment down below as usual. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for all the support. Peace out. Keep gaming.